Hi, I'm Lois Beres, and this is Ridgecrest Talk at KZGN-TV. And today I'm talking with Todd Black and Ken Rassmusen. And they are, is it co-pastors or different levels of pastor at, well, I know the girls that told me about you called it RCA. What does that stand for?
Yeah, first of all, I'm the lead pastor, and Ken serves as our executive pastor.
Okay, and the difference in that is what?
And he serves as an associate, so I'm...
Oh, okay. So if you have to be out or something, or you can fill in for different, do you have more than one service on a week?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So we have...
So that good, so you don't have to do everything. And,
Sure.
And he
yeah.
picks up, or
Yeah.
you don't have to do everything and he picks up. So works out pretty good for both of you.
He leads everything and I help support it.
See there, that's a humble man, right? Anyway, where is your church?
It's at 800 West Upjohn.
Okay.
And so
West.
RCA, you had asked, RCA stands for Ridgecrest Calvary Assembly.
Okay, Calvary Assembly. I didn't know what it was because
Yeah.
I talked to Heather and Donna and they kept saying RCA and I wasn't real sure what it stood for. I am a speech person. Anyway, these gentlemen are going to talk to us a little bit about their church, about themselves, and then some of the events that they'll be having on Easter, which is this weekend. So first of all, are either of you natives of Ridgecrest?
Not, yeah.
How about the desert? Your native desert?
Been around the desert a long time.
Oh, been a long time, good.
Yeah.
I was on the desert, but it was way over in New Mexico, so it wasn't this desert. But so how long have you been here?
So I arrived just prior to Easter last year, so just about a
so
year.
you're almost a whole year
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
Okay. And you have been here,
I just came 6 months after him.
Oh.
After he came, and then he asked me to come and support.
did you know each other?
Yes, we've
Yeah,
known each other
okay.
for 20 years.
Oh, that's a good long time. Yeah. And you've worked together before?
Not
really?
No.
Oh,
just,
okay.
been pastors through the years and just friends, so.
Oh, that's
yeah.
great. Well, just a little bit of information. With your church, I don't know exactly the government of it. Do you apply to the church itself, or are you appointed by a hierarchy or something?
Yeah, the church basically...
The congregation here
Congregation, church board
hires you.
hires us. And,
Okay.
And so it's kind of very similar to a secular job, looking for a position and send out resumes, and the
okay.
church facilitates candidates, and just very similar to a secular job.
Oh, that's great. I know some of them are different. They've got a hierarchy, and you have to go through all
Right,
that.
right.
But
Well, we do have that as far as our affiliations and
You
stuff,
do?
but there's a
Okay.
lot of autonomy that the church has.
each individual church is autonomous
so we're-
as far as
yeah.
hiring and that
Sure.
sort of thing. Oh,
And we're
that's
part of a
great.
national organization, so, but they have a lot local sovereignty that they can do on their own.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. So when you got here, then you could see that you needed help, so you
Yeah,
pulled
yeah,
this guy
yeah.
in, do
Right,
you?
right.
Oh, that's great.
So our church just has drastically grown in the last several years, and
Oh,
so
that's good.
coming in, the church knew they needed more than just myself, but some additional help. So yeah,
So how many people do you have? An idea?
yeah, just been averaging this last year a little over 400 on a Sunday morning.
that's
So,
excellent.
Yeah,
That's
we
really
do
good.
2 services at 9 and 11.
Ridgecrest has so many churches. You know, you go down Church Street, and now there's others, and there's just churches, and it's awesome when you see one that has that big of a congregation.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
really good. So how do you get certified or whatever with your particular denomination? How do you get to be a pastor of
Sure, yeah,
that?
yeah. Myself particularly went to a Christian college in Seattle, Washington, and certain classes that pertain to religious aspects, and then applying through our fellowship, which is Assemblies of God, for a license. And
Oh, okay.
so there's a process to go through there to get to be credentialed, and then from there, holding that credential for a couple years in active service as a pastor, and then you apply for ordination, which is
Oh, you served as a pastor before you were ordained.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, okay.
And so ordination is kind of the final step that, as far as
Your final
classification.
decision. Yeah, right. And you did basically the same thing.
Yeah, same thing. It's just like any other profession. You need to educate yourself.
Get your
and-
education, get
yeah,
your certification.
Get your experience.
And go for it.
And you go through the Cracker Jack box, you find your degree in there, and then you eat it.
Ooh, I got it.
Everybody's happy.
That's wonderful. And you've got, apparently with that many people, you've probably got from babies to oldsters.
We do, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got, really a place for every person.
Oh,
so
that's
from
wonderful.
nursery to our senior adults, different activities that pertain to that age group. And so it's a lot of young families.
And
And
that's
so,
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, with this area, we seem to have two groups, either the really young ones or the really older ones. And so that's good. You can fit
Yeah.
them both in. And you have a big facility, or what you were going to say?
Well, I was going to add to what he's saying is we really have a really great mixture of age ranges of people. So depending on the age you're in life, I think you'll fit very comfortably.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah, we have people that are in their early 20s and people that are in their late 70s, early 80s that are enjoying it, and they integrate really well.
Oh, that's wonderful. I like it when the old folks and the babies and what everybody gets all along together. It's
Yeah.
really good. Is your facility big enough, or do you have to have different services?
We do. We have need to have multiple services, so we're at 2 services at 9 and 11, and nice property, but we're
Need to be
busting
expanded
at
a
the
little
seams.
bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's a good problem to have, though,
Right.
isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
That's perfect. And you have, I suspect, Sunday school, and for all ages.
Well, what we do is we have on Sunday mornings, we've got our children's ministry, and that's from nursery through elementary age.
Oh.
And so that's geared kind of like Sunday school might be. And
Okay.
that's geared for them in a relevant environment for their age and teaching the Bible and just at their level. And then we've got also during Sundays different small groups, and so more a classroom type setting for
More like a Bible study.
Yeah, more like a Bible study.
Oh,
And then of
okay.
course the regular service that goes on during both those hours.
Keeps you busy setting up all
Yeah.
that. But you probably got some good volunteer people, too.
We do.
We have great people in Ridgecrest. I hope you found that out
Yes,
already.
yeah.
Absolutely.
There's something neat about the people here, and they're willing, if they take a cause on, they're willing to work for it.
Yes.
And I love that part. So
Absolutely.
this is really
Couldn't
good.
do it without them.
No, you couldn't. That's that many people and just the two, you couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's wonderful that you get that going. So in a little bit, we're going to talk about some of those volunteers and what they've helped you set up probably for your weekend,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So, okay. And the weekend is coming up right away with Easter, and these gentlemen are getting ready to tell us a little bit more about what's going on, but they've got things set up for everybody in Ridgecrest. You are welcome at their church.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Everybody.
Okay, well, that's excellent. And we're going to tell you a little bit more about the time and the place and what's going on, and we'll be back in just a little bit, okay? Okay, you're back with Lois and Todd and Ken, and they are from RCA Church. Now, the big question is, what is RCA Church? What are your leanings? What are your teachings? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, yeah. As we alluded to, RCA Church is just Ridgecrest Calvary Assembly. Many
Okay.
people ask just what that acronym represents. But,
I did, because I didn't know what it was.
It's, I guess probably the best way to kind of explain it is just a young congregation at the heart of it that is made up of every age group, ultimately, but just very practical, relevant, and biblical teachings that we communicate each and every week, and kind of how the rubber meets the road. You know, if I'm teaching something on Sunday, it's going to be about how can I apply this in my workplace or, family situations and just everyday life. And so that part is communicated in our teaching, and then in our singing. What we do there is just, I think that's a big part of why people
I was going
love
to
it.
ask you about
Yeah.
your singing, because it seems like choir is really a group thing, and it brings people in if you've got a good music program.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, and it's not necessarily a choir. It's more of a, we've got everything from drums to bass to electric guitars to keyboard, and so it's very alive, and I think that's what's been so attractive to young families in our community and young
younger
people
ones.
is they really resonate with that.
A lot of people feel comfortable with that because it's their type of music,
Yeah,
so
sure,
to speak.
sure.
So, do you work with the music? Or
Not directly as much, but I work with all aspects of the different departments of the church
Okay.
and helping with some of their planning, what they're doing. But as far as the music goes, yeah, it's very enjoyable, lively, and sensitive to where people are living and current. So, but yeah, I think we also appreciate some of the history of people who come from maybe different backgrounds and type of styles of music. So they have to just kind of come and get a feel for it. But we're very lively.
do you have
group of
that
people.
music? Do you have traditional music at all? Occasionally? Okay, so you can
occasionally
touch
do.
those folks that aren't
Yeah,
into the other
yeah.
part.
And you know what's unique too is we've just grown so much in the last few years that really the makeup of our congregation, it's got a great history, but the makeup of the congregation now is just, it's like a brand new church. And so we've got people from every different religious background, different types of religious background and walks of life that, so it makes it a kind of a unique melting pot.
It really sounds like it was. How long has the church been there?
Since 1945.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was there that long.
Yeah.
That's great.
So,
and you guys have only been here about a year. Well, you less than a year. But prior to that, I guess they had good builders that would build up the congregation.
Sure, yeah. And longtime pastor, been here close to 30 years, and then the person I followed just more recently last year was just brought about a lot of change and changing really the focus of just getting outside the walls and giving back to our community and I think making it more relevant and practical to everyday people. So you don't have to be a religious person to come to church, but I think everybody really relates to what's going on.
And they need to know that that will relate to their private life,
Absolutely.
to their personal life,
Yeah.
out of the door.
Yeah, we want them to feel like they can be themselves when they come.
That's an interesting point too.
They really need to be themselves when they come. They don't have to dress up
I was
to
going
be
to ask
somebody.
you could wear jeans if you needed to.
You can wear shorts, flip-flops, whatever you want to wear.
Okay.
It's just
That
about
works.
who you are. I mean,
Okay,
so-
that's what you want. Is you want people there as they are.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
beautiful. And then you'll help them, and they'll help you get to where you both.
We all have problems and challenges, so why fake it when you show up to church?
That's absolutely true.
Yeah. So just be yourself and come and enjoy it.
And you're welcome, because there won't be anybody saying, "Oh, he's got jeans on." No, because it's part of your.
Pastor wears jeans almost every Sunday on the platform anyway.
So
He
you
doesn't
can't
doesn't wear a
complain about
tie,
that.
doesn't wear a jacket, more laid back. But you can if you want to come that way and you
That's
like
okay,
that.
too.
And I wore those for many years, and I guess we've been in pastoring for 25 years each of us. So we've been around the block a little bit, and we realize people come from different walks of
You
life.
both look
and-
younger than that. I can't believe you've been in this
Well,
25
That's the goodness of God in the youth ministry.
Isn't that great?
Or maybe it's 22, 3, close to that
Okay,
range.
but you're close.
We're in that range, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So your church is on West Upton,
Correct.
and easy to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up John and Downs, 800 West
Okay.
Up John. So
That's
it's
funny. Up and down. Up John and Down Street. You're right there on the corner?
right on the corner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Real
Yeah.
easy to get to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really easy.
And you can bring your family from there to there.
Absolutely.
And there will be a program or something for them, and then the children are welcome in the main congregation, or?
Yeah, it's we gear our services so we in the main auditorium is focused in typically the adults, and that can be from teenagers really on up. And we certainly don't keep people from bringing their kids in, but we also have a special hour just for the children, elementary age on down, that's more specific to their target as far as what's being taught and shared, and maybe some activities that they would have in it, more of the children's area versus the
that's
adult
great.
auditorium. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would that coincide with a service for the adults?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so you could take your small child, they could go to a program that's set up for them, and then you could go and worship on your own with your spouse or
Yeah.
whatever.
That's the idea.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, whatever your preference is, we
Yeah.
adapt to that.
We
Oh, that's
found
good.
that
That's good.
trying to wrangle a toddler during service
Sometimes it's kind of
kind of
difficult,
a
isn't it?
challenge. Yeah. So we
Yeah, I've done that.
yeah.
I used to pinch my kids. That wasn't the thing. So they just got louder. But my kids still tell me they remember that. You got to be quiet. You know you have to be quiet. But they didn't, because I was at a church where they were accepted too.
Yeah.
So that was great.
Yeah.
But I need to know a little bit about what you think is the big draw to your church. What would make people want to come?
Yeah, I think just
What you've said, probably,
Yeah,
that
that's
everybody's
a huge
welcome.
part, and I think that everybody comes from different backgrounds and maybe religious experience, and I think the biggest thing I hear often is we're just a loving and accepting church, and you can come as you are, and that's not only in your dress and appearance, but whatever hurts, habits, or hang-ups you might have. There's no judging. We just want you to come. And in time grow in that walk in that relationship with Christ. And so
Do you, are you either or both of you available for counseling if somebody needed to sit down and talk to you about their pains and problems?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
certainly part of the pastoral role. And
I would think so,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I didn't know what.
Yeah, and it's runs a gamut from marriage to a college student making choices or decisions, and just helping speak into their life.
And they just need to sit and talk to somebody different than, say, their parents or somebody, and you guys would be available to
Absolutely.
help with that.
Sure.
Okay, you are the two main pastors.
Okay.
Do you have volunteer teachers, or do you handle all that yourself? Or how do you do that with your other?
Yeah, we actually have a few other key staff positions.
Oh, do you? Oh, okay.
And so through our gentleman who leads our songs and the music, so that's a key part every week. That's many volunteers. So we have some key lead people who help facilitate volunteers to run each area of the ministries, whether it's music or children. And so from that to, a person who helps connect our new guests and people that come into the church. And so a few
hospitality.
Yeah,
sort of
right,
thing.
right. And so
Yeah.
there's multiple people in one capacity or another, part-time key volunteers that run key areas of ministry. And then from that, that's where all the volunteers come into place. So.
Okay, we are back, and I'm sorry we kind of got a little confused on the break, but we were talking about volunteers at the RCA church here with Todd and Ken, and you were talking about your music person that was handling
Yeah, you were
that.
asking just about how many other staff
Programs
and
and
volunteers.
staff and that sort of thing.
Yeah, we had left off with our music guy, and kind of each different area, whether it's children or youth, usually have a key person or individual overseeing that, and then the volunteers come into place. So you've got band, you've got singers on the team that make up volunteers that happen each week, and so it takes a lot of people
It
each
does.
weekend to make.
With 400 people coming on the weekend, that means that there are more, because everybody doesn't get there every weekend.
Right.
That's right.
So you've got a lot of folks out there
Yeah.
that you need to minister to on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
So you've got a ministry head, so to speak, that's a staff person, and then your volunteers come.
Yeah.
Okay. And now these ministry heads, I don't know if that's the word I should be using, but anyway, they are planning, along with you guys, a big weekend for this Easter weekend. Tell me a little bit about where you start. Is it going to be like Wednesday, tomorrow, Thursday? What do you have going?
Yeah, so part of our whole weekend is leading into our Easter egg hunt on Saturday morning,
Okay.
which begins at 9 a.m. on Saturday at the fairgrounds.
Oh, at the fairgrounds.
Yeah,
Oh,
so this
okay.
is our second year. We switched over to the fairgrounds last year, and so it's a great venue for an event like that.
And what ages are?
It's all the way from 2-year-olds to you can walk to even teenagers
Okay.
have the opportunity for kids to be involved.
So you put different segments out for them, or?
Yeah, so
okay.
registration starts at 9 a.m. and roughly around 9:30 we start with the different age groups.
Okay.
And so it runs about every 15-minute segments.
Yeah, it's amazing how quick they can clean up those Easter eggs.
Yeah,
isn't it?
that's right.
They're laying there and they're gone. But so you start with the little ones, probably.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and then go up to
Start with the little
even
ones
teenagers.
and we move on up into the different groups, and it's just the volunteers make it happen and do such a wonderful job of very organized. It's just a well-done event.
Are you actually coloring eggs? Are you using plastics? Are you doing both?
Ken has been working for the last.
You've been coloring eggs.
Coloring.
huh?
Yeah, my fingernails are a little stained from all the dye and everything that's been going on. See, I told you I do all
Yeah,
the...
he was a jack of all trades. He
Yeah,
did tell
yeah.
me that. Yeah. Well, you have to be where you need it, I guess.
That's right. That's how it works.
So really, that's great. We have several Easter egg hunts, but nothing. I don't think that's quite on the scale of yours.
So we do about 30,000 eggs that we've purchased, and one of the great things about that is purchasing them. They're, the safety and they're all secure in the sense of what goes in those eggs. So that's an important part for parents and just the safety of that.
So individually, you're stuffing them or doing
No,
whatever.
they're
They already.
pre-done. And
Oh, that's
so,
neat.
yeah.
That saves a lot of time.
It does.
Yeah.
Costs a lot of money, too.
And a lot of fingernails. Yeah, I bet it would. So when you register, is there a charge?
No.
No charge?
Absolutely free.
Okay,
Yeah.
and it's free to everyone.
Everyone, yes.
Anybody that wants to drive out there to the fairgrounds and take part, if they're in a separate age bracket, they can take part,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And we've got, throughout that morning, we've got more than just the eggs. And so we've got a rock wall, we've got bounce houses, we've got some carnival games, activities for the kids to participate in. And then, of course, we've got some local vendors, food that will be there as well. And so it's kind of really, you can make a morning of it as a family.
Well, that sounds exciting. And that's Saturday morning.
Saturday morning,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
And it's really good. And the reason why I mentioned that money is, people at the church, their hearts for the community, and there's no charge, and they give to support, to reach out. Not only to give with their funds, but give with their time.
Oh, that's
And it's just
wonderful.
a reflection of the heart of Pastor Todd and the leadership of the church, just to say, sometimes people perceive churches, they just want you to come and then give and take
A little
their
stuffy
money.
and give me some money
Yeah.
in the plate, and I'll see you next
but,
week.
right,
Or
but-
something.
Yeah, we're not that at all.
That's excellent.
So
You
this is
guys
a
need to
reflection.
be aware of that. This
Yeah.
is a really friendly congregation. I know several of the people that go out there, so I know how friendly they are. And if they're any example at all, it's fantastic. So you guys are going to get out there before breakfast.
Yeah.
I mean, real early. And
Yeah.
it starts
Early.
at 9.
Starts at 9. Our first volunteers will be out there about 6
I
a.m. just to
bet.
set things up. And,
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, and I don't know if I mentioned too, there's some special giveaways during
No,
that
I didn't
time
know
as
that.
well.
Okay.
So it's, not only egg hunts, and then this is important too, we have at 10 o'clock, there's a couple segments where we have a special spot for kids with special needs. And so
Oh.
we've had people ask, how can we facilitate when you've got kids running out there and those with special needs can't compete with
Right.
that. So they've got their own special area we've set up
That's
just
fantastic.
specifically for them.
I
Yeah,
like
absolutely,
that.
yeah.
That's really good.
So.
Okay, we're down to the last 2 minutes, if you can believe it or not. And we need to know you're doing some other things on the weekend that you want to invite people to.
Yeah. We are, as I mentioned, a growing church that is just kind of busting at the seams. And Easter, more people come than any time of the year. And so we've rented the Kerr McGee Center.
Oh, okay.
And so Easter morning, Sunday, we'll be there at 10 a.m. And so we're combining our two services into one combined service. And then obviously a bigger venue gives us a greater opportunity for more people to come. And so,
Excellent, yeah. And so everybody's welcome. Now, does the service start at 10?
Service starts at 10.
Okay,
yeah.
so you need to be there a little bit earlier,
Yeah,
probably,
that'd
and
be
get
good,
yourself
yeah.
a chair or whatever and get in there. And you both will participate then if you're doing one service for the Sunday then, instead of having two like you usually do.
Yeah, have them all
Okay.
together. And
Okay.
there'll be programs there for the children if they want to have the children dropped off. There'll be coffee and dessert there for people to partake of, and no cost. And just want to make it an enjoyable time. And maybe for people who don't go to, quote, churches, don't want to be at church, it's a great time just to come and check out people in a neutral setting and feel comfortable.
Excellent.
And those who maybe are, I know small towns enough, I've grew up in one and been around them, that have been in churches and hopped around and maybe been hurt a little bit, not sure where to go, and maybe have some issues. They just don't feel like they can get back into church. This is a great opportunity to
Just go back,
to
visit with
retry.
these people because they're all friendly. I know they are, and they'd love to have you. And now we're out of time. I thank you both for coming, and everybody go either on Saturday to the fairgrounds or Sunday at Kerr McGee at 10 o'clock for their service.
Great.
And they'd love to have you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Thank you for having
All
us.
Thank you
right.
very much. It's been a pleasure.